So on your self-publishing journey, what can you expect? Is it always good times, or are there going to be things that might challenge you? In this episode, I'm going to share with you some of the things that I've learned on my journey to date and things that I really want to be able to do to help you on your journey. So enjoy, and I look forward to sharing with you everything that I have that can help you on your journey. Hi, my name's Romney, and thanks very much for being part of today's show. There's times in your self-publishing journey that you really wonder whether it's going to be something which you're going to be able to pursue and continue to do over the long term. Because self-publishing has its own unique set of challenges, and they're challenges which I probably didn't expect from the very beginning. I think a lot of different videos or courses that you do always talk about the upside, but they don't tend to talk about those challenges which you'll face during that journey. So over the past 18 months for me, I've had some times where you've almost felt like throwing it in. And what's really helped me is having some goals, some really strong goals, and having clarity of what I wanted to achieve and a bit of a roadmap about how that was all going to come together. So when I first started publishing, I did do some longer form books, the 30,000 word books. And the first book I put my heart and soul into it and worked so hard to create that book for it only to be launched. And probably I did it the wrong way. And I launched that book and probably only sold about 5 or 6 copies. And it was devastating because I'd put hours of work into this book only for it to go into the platform of Amazon, compete against the 45 million other books out there, and for it to be lost in the system. And there are a lot of things I learned from that book. So the next book I tried again and did marginally better. I probably went into the wrong niche. It was in a habit development goal setting niche, which is a highly competitive niche. And I was very fortunate where I had an amazing testimonial that was provided by a top motivational speaker in the United States that helped get that book up to becoming a bestseller. But again, I thought that once it became a bestseller, that organically that book would continue to rank. But unfortunately, I didn't have the pedal to the metal and continue to do the marketing I should have done. And over the journey, that book has now just slipped away. And it becomes very, very hard to breathe life back into an old book. Even if it was a successful book, if you've let it go too far, that book to bring it back to life can be extremely challenging. So I've learned that as well, that when you have a successful book, you've just got to continue to market that book and continue to promote that book as hard as you can. And it is challenging because you have new books that are coming out all the time. So to be able to focus back on previous work and still focus on the new books that you're doing can be challenging. And if you're beginning your business and you haven't outsourced any of your tasks, then you're multitasking across so many different areas. There's the book creation, the book development, the book publishing, the Amazon marketing, there might be Facebook marketing, there might be ingramspark uploading, there might be other social media information that you're doing, and there's expenses that you've got to be working through. So you're doing all the accounting. There's so many things that you're going to be thinking about all the time. So on my journey, there are times that I've really felt that I was under a lot of pressure because I'd given up a full-time job to start my publishing, and I have a family which I need to support as well. So to give up significant sort of regular income where you've got people that are dependent on you can be for your mind a challenge in itself. And then with everything that happened last year, with countries and states being in lockdown, that proves its own set of challenges as well. But what I absolutely knew was that self-publishing is an area where it's limitless in regards to your expansion. You've got the ability to scale globally. You have the capacity to market your books in many different countries. Gone are the traditional days of having books that are sitting at home, in an office, in a shed somewhere that could potentially get damaged by water or any environmental factors. With the print-on-demand services now that are available, you don't even have to carry any inventory. I mean, I print off, a book when I do it, just so I've actually got a physical copy, and if I'm helping with my marketing, then that really helps. But for most of the time, you never really see any of your books being sold or how they're being posted and things like that, because the big distributors, global distributors, do all that for you. And as you know, they take care of all the printing and the customer service, the returns, all of that, and you receive the royalty at the end. So in regards to your mindset going to self-publishing, the expectation for many people is that you produce a book or create a book, you load it up, and then it starts to sell. And when that doesn't happen, maybe the second, third, fourth, maybe the 10th book that you create, it becomes really disheartening. And the hard thing is, if you keep seeing people that are posting results about their own self-publishing that are generating $10,000 per month, it can become very disheartening. But what you need to do is to focus on your journey, because your journey is unique and the way that you operate is very unique to anybody else. So what one person's journey might look like is going to be different from yours. But in self-publishing, it's not a 6-month or 12-month opportunity. Publishing should be, you should be looking at maybe 5-year windows at a time. And you invest your time to be able to create great resources, great books, which the customer will have, it'll have an impact on them, whether it be a gift that they're giving or they're reading themselves or they're gaining knowledge. They're the kinds of things that self-publishing allows you to do. It makes you think about what the customer needs, but it also gives you an opportunity to have that positive impact, which is amazing. But going back to the mindset of self-publishing. So I remember I had probably my first 2 or 3 months, I was selling maybe 15, 20 books max. And even with, so I had books with ebook, hardback, paperback, audiobook, and the numbers just weren't adding up. I was putting a lot of money into advertising, but just not getting the return in regards to sales, and I was spending too much, not understanding how the Amazon marketing worked. I'd be spending $100 and it looked like I was doing well on the dashboard by saying that I had $150 in sales, but I'd spent $90 in marketing. But once you took out the costs of the printing and the publishing side of things, my time, and also any relevant taxes, I was making a loss. So that was quite disheartening, where you're putting all your time and effort into making books and you're just not getting those results. So I really had to focus on that longer term. So I created some goals which was specific to what my journey had to be like. And I needed to have absolute clarity of what I wanted, because without that clarity, I wouldn't be getting up early to get things going in the morning. I wouldn't have that energy to keep on going when my books weren't selling, or I had rejection notifications from Amazon saying that I wasn't meeting the specifications regarding the book content, or sort of the cover. And so you continue to get these knockbacks, and you're seeing other people that are pushing ahead and you're wondering what you're doing wrong. And I can at times be a slow learner. It might take me 2 or 3 times of making a mistake for it then to light bulb moment come on for me to go, I think I get it now. I think I know how to change it up. I think I know what the customer is looking for, how to make that high quality book. So they're the kind of things that you need to work through. So first, number 1 tip, make sure you're clear on what your publishing goals look like, because without those goals, you tend to be moving you could be moving forward, back, left or right, and you don't know whether it's in the right direction. Whereas if you've got your goals and you can set longer term goals, but then split them down at the beginning every month. I have my whiteboard and I have my top 5 goals that I want to achieve in the month. And they just give me clarity of what I need to do. And those goals will drive the actions which I need to then do for my self-publishing. In regards to the books, my first part of my mindset was to get as many books out as I could so that those books would help drive revenue, which would help support the business. But you soon work out that if you're just pumping books out all the time, the quality tends to drop. Therefore, those books don't get good reviews, which means that they end up dying. And it is such a waste of time, energy and effort if you continue to create books which the quality suffers, and in the long run it hurts you. Even in the short term it hurts you because you're not seeing the book sales coming through. So make sure you're spending much more time, even more than what you probably think you should, on creating the high quality books which you honestly believe are worth 5 stars in regards to rating. Because you need to make sure that those books are the ones which will be generating $500 or $1,000 in 6 months, 12 months, 18 months time. And those reviews, those positive reviews keep building, because that momentum that will build both on, say, the Amazon platform or ingramspark, or whether you've got audio books available or ebooks available through Draft to Digital, whatever form they may be in, you're just going to make sure they're quality books that you're doing. And one thing about those times that you feel as though you're not really sure whether you can go on, and I had a couple of times last year where, for me personally, I just wasn't sure how I was going to continue to keep going to generate the income which allowed me to have that freedom to be able to pull away from doing some part-time work, to be able to really invest a significant amount of time into the self-publishing. And it is during these times that I reflected back on that I've learnt the most. It's almost been an opportunity to harden my core and work out what it is that really will make the difference with my business. The hardest thing with this, as I mentioned earlier, is those moving parts. There seem to be so many things every single day that you're having to do and having to look back on, and the list that you create seems to be about 30 things that you'd love to be doing. And I've got to the point now where I love self-publishing so much that I get sort of near the end of the day and I reckon I could just keep going all day and all night. And the next day I could be doing 24/7 if I could. However, you need to make sure that you keep that balance right as well between spending that time socially with your family, for example, or friends, but also making sure that you continue to remain focused on what's important regarding the publishing, because it's the activities where they have the greatest return on investment. And that can be a challenge for many people as well, knowing what task will provide the greatest return of investment. Is it continuing to create books? Is it to maybe pivot a little bit and do, for example, YouTube videos? Would you focus your time on the higher content books, or is it better to focus on the lower content books and continue to create those? So you've got to make a bit of a choice, and you never know exactly whether the choice you're making is the right choice or not. But all you need to do is continue to take action and continue to move forward, because you'll soon work out whether what you're doing is going to be of benefit for the long term, or whether there's things that you need to change up to help with the growth of both the books that you're publishing and the methods that you're using. And another piece of advice I'd definitely give you is, what I do is I've got a spreadsheet and I take notes every month about what has worked and what hasn't worked, what books have been selling during that month, what haven't sold so well, what marketing have I done for particular books. So therefore, in 12 months' time, when I come back again, I know what books I should be probably marketing for at that time of the year. Is Mother's Day coming up? is Father's Day coming up, Halloween, you've got Christmas, you've got these events which you should put in your calendar so you're aware of what books you need to be marketing and promoting or creating and developing and launching at particular times of the year. Because the bigger your book portfolio in those specific niches is, then the greater opportunity you'll probably have to be able to sell good books, during those periods of time. Because there's not a lot of books you can create which are year-rounders. There are obviously there's some that you can create, but if you can create books in particular niche areas and focus on those times, then you'll see some good spikes in sales during the year. So I hope this has been able to help you. It's something which I'm very passionate about, helping people on their publishing journey. I've started self-publishing coaching as well for people to be able to help them out. So I hope this, and I'm sorry about the siren in the background, I hope this video and this lesson has been able to sort of help you in regards to your publishing journey and knowing where that will take you as well. So thank you, and I look forward to providing more content and more information as part of this series. Thank you.